Hello, 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 and welcome to the College of Creation. My name is Dan.
And my name is Michael.
And we are Dungeons & Dragons DMs who love to homebrew items, spells, creatures, and features for D&D. And this is a show where we make brand new homebrew every single episode, inspired by prompts that we get from our listeners. This week it's items. Items, once again, that we are making.
Yeah.
We love an item episode. We were just talking about it last time around, that items, because they are so limited in what they can do, you don't want to overload an item with too many things. It's always fun to just run with the first thought and just kind of make it as sort of compacted and just a
as
whole
streamlined
thing.
as you can. Yeah, you want it to be accessible. I played a couple higher level campaigns towards the beginning of my experience, and I stayed away from every single legendary item because they're just so difficult to digest. It's really frustrating sometimes to have to go back through all that text to find tiny details about the item or weapon. So I think across the board, no matter what the rarity is, it's good to have something concise and easy to understand, easy to follow. The clearer something is, the more fun it can be for players of all levels.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about items, as opposed to spells, have so many little rule stipulations that you have to get right in order to make a useful one. Playable species and subclasses have so many moving parts, and they have more of a progression, or at least more of a multi-feature sort of structure to them. But items kind of can be whatever thing you can think of. It can be a spell-like effect, but not fully a spell. It can grant spells. But whatever it may be, you can really feel free to go ham with it. And it's just about making it sort of a self-contained creation, which I find very enjoyable to try and sort of come up with. And it leaves a lot of room for tweaking, I think, in a way where if you tweak one thing, you're not kind of destabilizing other pieces of your creation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you have a first favorite item? Do you remember when you first started playing an item that stuck out to you as something cool that you began with?
That's a good question. Do you have anything in mind that was like a huge favorite right out the gate?
One of my first characters was an Aarakocra ranger, and I had to pick another language to learn, and I chose Draconic because I didn't know anything. I didn't know any different, so I just chose Draconic, and it ended up being like a big part of my character's story. And so I got armor of like a dragon's breath resistant armor, and I always remember that being very special because my GM allowed me to have it taken to a smith and have holes cut in it so I could fly with it. Because typically, as an Aarakocra, you can't fly in medium or heavy armor. And so he allowed me to cut holes in the back of my armor so I could still fly in it. So that was very cool. That was a memorable first or second or third item. I can't remember exactly, but it was an early one for sure.
I like that a lot. I really enjoy giving out some of the wondrous items that aren't armor or wearables or anything like that, but the ones that have a weirdly specific function.
Yeah.
I always like giving those out because I think they're so fun to just see what a player is going to do with that thing.
Like the emerald pen or whatever that is.
Yeah. But I really like the alchemy jug or the
classic
ever smoking bottle is really fun too for those reasons.
Yeah.
Like if players can find a fun way to mess with that, It's
What are you
really
going to use
fun.
this for? Yeah.
Right. I mean, I have at the library that I run D&D for the preteens. I gave them an ever smoking bottle, and one of the players has had a lot of fun figuring out how to use that for all kinds of like weird little obscuring tactics. Like he's he's jumping around the battlefield, but he like drops it off, opens it up, uncorks it, and keeps the cork with him, and just goes elsewhere. And so you just have this
Yeah.
like chaos of this expanding smoke filled
Yeah.
area in the center of the battlefield, which creates some really interesting like battlefield control. Like he's not super in control of what it is, but like it does
Right.
create an interesting dynamic, which is really fun to see like a relative newcomer to the game find a way to utilize the mechanics uh, of a magic item like that to just kind of like tweak the situation in their favor, and like understands that
Sure.
like to a degree running in and hitting something isn't always the best choice. Like there's also this great
Right.
option where you can mess around and just try and affect the state of things in a way that
Hmm.
pulls more in your favor, which is really fun to watch, for sure.
I agree. Let's talk about our items.
Yeah,
I only brought 3 tonight.
same.
Mine are all they're all different items, but they're all similar. I focus more on the functionality of the framework that I made, and I applied that framework to all 3 of the items that I
Okay,
brought. I
that's fun.
focus more on the leveling up than the actual TV items themselves. I feel like
Sure.
they're flavored in a way that make them TV items, but they could kind of be reskinned for whatever you really want them to be. Um, I guess I'll just go.
Yeah, yeah. I
Since
mean, yeah. I was
we're
just
kind
gonna
of
say,
launching into it anyway.
I think I kind of took the opposite tack to you, where mine
Oh,
are
great.
more TV based, and the leveled up or the leveling up function of it is sort of it's secondary. It's built into the like mechanics of the item, but it's not like the primary
Gotcha.
focus of how it works necessarily. But I do have 2 items and one thing that I think you will get a kick out of, which I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
But I'm excited to see what your creations are. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I have no big introduction this week. No common theme really,
Mhm.
other than that these are from shows that have that I have enjoyed in different parts of my life. So I
Nice.
just picked from shows that I either really like or have been watching recently, to try and fit into, like I said, a framework that I'm trying out. So if you'd open your document, these are just 3 items, and I set up at the top here.
Nice.
The following items can be upgraded using spell scrolls and proficiency with a specific tool.
Oh, cool.
Upgrade details are listed in the tables included. So we have the first of the 3 here. This is Daryl's crossbow. This is a crossbow for the Daryl Dixon's crossbow from The Walking Dead.
Yep.
I watched the entire series when my first son was first born. He was not a very good sleeper, so I was up all the time. So I watched the whole series, and now I'm watching it again now that I have another baby in the house. So it's kind of just like a nostalgic, like guilty pleasure watch that just puts me at ease. This is Daryl's crossbow. It's an uncommon crossbow. It requires attunement, and this weapon scores a critical hit on a 19 or a 20 when targeting an undead creature specifically. The tool requirement for this item is carpenter's tools. If you or someone you know is proficient with carpenter's tools, you can provide the following upgrades to Daryl's crossbow. So if you upgrade it, the first time you upgrade it, you need to spend 8 working hours, 250 gold pieces, and you need to use 1 daylight spell scroll. So it consumes the spell scroll kind of into the weapon, right? And these upgrade requirements are going to be the same for all 3 items. I didn't really change the gold or
Sure.
the working time. I just changed the spell scrolls around. The upgrade in question, the first upgrade for the crossbow, cause the crossbow to emit bright light out to 15 feet and dim light to an additional 15, or reverse the effect as a bonus action. So you just make it light up, and it becomes rare. Then, if you have a rare Daryl's crossbow, you can spend 7 working days, 1,000 gold pieces, and 1 wall of light spell scroll to ignore the loading property, and on a hit, deal an additional 1d8 radiant damage. And these are permanent upgrades. This is not a one-time thing. It just levels them up, full stop. Then becomes very rare for that second upgrade. And then to upgrade to legendary, this requires 3 working weeks, 7,500 gold pieces, and 1 sunbeam spell scroll, scoring a critical hit on an 18, 19, or 20 when targeting an undead creature. And on a crit, you deal an additional 1d8 radiant damage to all undead within 5 feet of the target. Massively upgrading the amount of damage you can do as a crowd control tactic.
That's very cool. Are you imagining that,
Thank you.
You have to do these in order? Like, can you skip
Yes.
ahead? Like, if I, for example, didn't have a daylight spell scroll, but I did have Wall of Light, can I just do one of them without doing the other?
I don't know. I guess you could do them in any order you want, really. The thought was that you'd have to do them in order.
Mhm.
Yes. So that it would stack as you go.
Sure.
But I suppose if you wanted to go to the very rare one first, you just wouldn't have the rare feature on there until you spent the time to do that. But I think that in future iterations, if I ever go back to this, I would include the stipulation that they do have to go in order.
Mhm.
I think that makes sense in my brain.
Yeah. I mean, I'm reminded of the kind of thing that you can do at like a workbench in like the Last of Us games or whatever, where you're like,
Yes.
you know, you
Yes.
have gathered enough parts and things to like upgrade your weapon so that it's, you know, whatever it is. Or in like BioShock, you know, go up to the little upgrade machine and you can upgrade your weapon with like one new special thing that it can do. So that's I really enjoy that a lot. I think that's a cool framework and structure that I could see being applied kind of to any mundane item. You could even take this framework as just a DM and be like, great, we're playing with homebrew rules where if you're not a wizard but you want to utilize some spell scrolls, feel free to try and tinker with some of your items and add spell effects onto them in, you know, some way or another. I like it.
Yeah, we could work together and see what spell scroll you have and see what effect that spell scroll would have on this specific item.
Yeah,
it's
I
all
like
kind of fluid. I understand that this is kind of video gamey, maybe too video gamey for some people, but I think that it kind of scratches a part of my brain that that I do enjoy, hearkening back to my video game roots.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's fun.
Thank you. The second one is Scott's Visor. This is talking about Scott Summers, Cyclops from the X-Men. I was an X-Men kid when I was younger, and with the recent release of X-Men 97, loved watching that. So this is Cyclops' Visor. Again, this is an uncommon, wondrous item. It requires attunement. This visor has 4 charges, regains all of them at dawn. As an action, you can use a charge to emit a beam of energy at a creature you can see within 30 feet. The target must make a DC 14 Dex save, taking 2d6 force damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. Simple base mechanic. The tool requirement here is Smith's Tools. For the first requirement, again, the working hours and the gold are the same. It requires 1 fireball spell scroll. The target also takes 1d6 fire damage on a hit. For the very rare upgrade, this is a Wall of Fire spell scroll. On a hit, the beam can jump to 1 additional target within 30 feet, forcing that creature to make the saving throw. Also, it increases the capacity to 5 charges. And then at the legendary tier, it requires 1 Immolation spell scroll. The range of the beam and all subsequent jumps increases to 45 feet. An increase to 4d6 force and 2d6 fire damage on a hit for the legendary.
I like it. Yeah, that's fun. Did you ever watch X-Men Evolution? That was a big one for me as a kid.
I was mostly a comic person when I was younger. So I didn't watch a lot of X-Men. It was strange. I just preferred kind of the physical media, but now I do enjoy the recent shows. I'm trying to work my way back through the back catalog, but I have too much Walking Dead to watch right now, so I have no time.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
yeah, that is how it goes. But I do remember I read the comics a bunch too back in the day. I read all the original Marvel comics, original Spider-Man, original Avengers lineup, which was
mm-hmm.
just a bunch of weird guys. Iron Man back in like the tin can suit.
Oh yeah, it was just like Spanx, but red and gold.
No, even before
With the
that,
eye
even
slits.
before that, when
Yeah.
he's just like he's a
Right.
man in
Yeah,
in like it looks almost like
In
a
an
diving
iron suit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like an iron lung
Yeah.
almost. It's like a big, just
Yeah.
barrel chest.
Bender from Futurama.
Yeah, it's very Bender looking kind of thing.
Anyway,
Anyway,
my third item is a sharp veer to the left. This is Steve's notebook. This is from Blue's Clues.
okay.
This is an uncommon, wondrous item. Also requires attunement. This notepad has 3 charges for your 3 clues, and it regains all expended charges each day at dawn. As a bonus action, you can spend a charge to mark a creature you can see within 10 feet. You immediately learn its creature type. That's it. Nice and basic. The tool requirement here is Calligrapher's Supplies. For the rare upgrade, you need an Identify spell scroll. When you mark a creature, you also learn the target's alignment and any proficiencies. Also, the range increases to 20 feet.
Cool.
Very rare, you need a Clairvoyance spell scroll. You also learn all resistances, immunities, and vulnerabilities. The range also increases to 30 feet.
Nice.
At the legendary tier, you need a Legend Lore spell scroll. And when you mark a creature, you learn one of the creature's usable actions and whether or not it can use legendary actions or legendary resistances. And the range increases to 40 feet. So this is strictly a divination item. Figuring out your enemy before they figure you out in return. And that's the only use for it. But if you place your 3 charges on the correct creatures, it can be super beneficial.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of information that you can get at that legendary level. Pretty fun. I like it.
It's a lot of information. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy
Thanks.
this framework, and I think I could have a lot of fun. Just opening this door for players to try things out, and then we can kind of collaborate on like what makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like you've got a good sort of structure here of like, the first upgrade is like first level spells, or on occasion up to third level spells with like a fireball.
Yeah, it's first to third,
and then up closer to like 5, 6 kind of area.
Yeah.
And then up to really high level spells for the legendary, which makes total sense. And I think if you kind of stick within that framework for upgrades and make it make sense with the type of tools that somebody is using for it, this could be really fun. I like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah. It starts the conversation.
Yeah.
For creativity. What items do you have that you feel could do something cooler? And what else are you working with? And we'll find the path together. Yeah.
And we've talked quite a bit in the past about how enjoyable it is to do sort of collaborative homebrew at the table, to work with your players on the kinds of things that they want to have, and let them be an active part in the creation. And I think this is a really good way to do that, and to open up that conversation. So I think it's great.
Thanks, man. What did you bring tonight?
So, like I said, I focused less on any kind of framework for leveling up and more on just like what were the ideas that I had around television, and some ideas just of like things that I liked from TV that I thought would be interesting to make. And I kind of went with like some 3 first best thoughts. One of them was not specific to any given television show, but I had an idea when we rolled this prompt last time that I wrote down, and I was just like, I have to figure out what this does. I don't know if it's any good, but I decided to just go for it. It's a little mishmash of stuff. I have no preamble to go along with it, so let's just jump in, shall we?
Let's do it.
We
Yeah.
have leveled up TV creations. They're not all items, as you will see in just a moment, because your first creation
Yeah.
is actually a Bastion facility.
Man, I am a sucker for a Bastion facility.
I
love it.
fan.
I love it.
Definitely excited to have some of my players actually having a Bastion now and able to start playing around with that rule set and testing the limits of it. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. But for now, at least in concept, I think it's really fun. I think it's really cool. But I decided to create my own Bastion facility inspired by a thing, a place, a concept from Community, the classic sitcom Community,
Nice.
a favorite of mine for at least a few of its seasons. This is the Dreamatorium in the television show. It is the extra bedroom in Troy and Abed's room that they convert into a hollow deck sort of space. But it is entirely powered by their imagination. It is otherwise blank walls inside, except for like a grid of blackened like green neon green lines. But the Dreamatorium here is a level 5 Bastion facility. There are no prerequisites to it. It is a cramped space. It does not provide any hirelings, and it does not have the ability to give an order. Orders being things like craft or hire or empower. The Dreamatorium instead is a small space, doesn't take up too much room in your Bastion, but it has blank walls, and its function is limited only by your imagination. So it has this one thing that it can do, and that is imagined reality. After spending a long rest in your Bastion, you gain 1 rest benefit from a different Bastion facility of your choice, not in your Bastion. Your level must meet the prerequisite for that Bastion facility, but you do not need to meet any of the other prerequisites. So that's the leveling up portion. These are not the orders. So this is not the thing where, like in the Sanctuary, you can craft anything or empower anything. But it is instead when you spend the night in your Bastion, if you have a Sanctuary in your Bastion, you gain a spiritual charm that allows you a free casting of Healing Word. But there are a bunch of other Bastion facilities that do a similar thing. When you rest and spend time within your Bastion, they give you a special little bonus for doing so. The Dreamatorium does that, but whatever benefit you choose for that day that you rest in there, whichever thing you would like to have, you can have, because in the Dreamatorium your options are endless. So yeah, that's your little Dreamatorium special Bastion facility. It's a little cheaper.
I love that.
And means that if you just want the rest benefits of like a higher level, a level 13 or a level 17 Bastion, you don't have to build out that entire Bastion. You can just use your Dreamatorium and not take up the additional space. So there you go.
We manifest it into reality. Yeah.
Imagine that you have one of these other Bastion facilities.
Yeah, the one where you can like talk to gods, whatever that one is.
Yeah.
Contact the other planes.
So I don't know what the limitations are of this. I didn't honestly read through all of the different rest things before making this. I just kind of was like, this seems like fun. Let's do it.
Yeah, I love that.
We also have down into the actual items. We'll get into them here. We have the Shield of Cooking. This is inspired by Delicious in Dungeon, a wonderful little show about cooking monster parts in an endless dungeon below the ground. It's rare and it requires attunement by a creature with proficiency in cook's utensils. So you have to have proficiency in cook's utensils to attune to this. This rounded iron shield resembles a large wok. The magic shield grants a +1 bonus to armor class, and in addition, you can use the concave side of this shield as a cooking vessel, functioning as cook's utensils. So you can use this as cook's utensils.
Perfect.
When you use the craft action using this tool, so you can craft rations when you know do stuff, take long rests, and have supplies with you. With all of the new tools, their crafting abilities that they all have. Uh, you can add a mark to a growing tally, and you gain the benefits listed in the table below after adding the specified number of marks. So after marking off 10, you learn the Goodberry spell and can cast it once per day. At 25 marks, you learn the Create Food and Water spell and can cast that once per day. At 50 marks, you gain the Chef feat just straight out. And at 100 marks, you can cast Goodberry and Create Food and Water 5 times per day instead of just once. So if you're using this to practice your cooking and get better and better at creating foods and rations, you just get better and better at it and become the ultimate chef.
This is fantastic. This is a great framework for a lot of items, I think. Any item that could also function as a set of artisan's tools. A set of knives be your painter's supplies or calligrapher's supplies or something like that.
Do a little Zorro thing.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
A rapier as your calligraphy supplies.
I can see some very fun applications for it. Again, I don't actually know how balanced this is, with 100 marks being kind of the top level of it. But I imagine it would take a little while to get there. So, you got to put in the work.
Probably.
To make it work. And it's a pretty rare item.
You really have to want it. Yeah.
It's not like you're just getting this for free. But you get a little bit of extra ability to cook delicious food for your friends. And we all love that.
Yeah.
And then finally, we get to my final item, the running gag. Which is a wondrous item. This is a set of pair of boots, and they are very rare and require attunement. So while wearing these magic boots, you gain a bonus each time you use the same action as you did the previous round. So each bonus is cumulative and can stack.
Nice.
But bonus actions do not count towards this bonus. So for example, if you have the ability to dash as a bonus action, that does not count as taking the dash action for the purpose of this. But the bonuses are listed here below. So if you take the attack action on one turn, and then you take the attack action on your next turn, you gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls, which then stacks each subsequent round that you take the attack action. So you can get that working pretty high in a long enough combat. Yeah. I should say, as soon as a round goes by that you don't take this action,
drops to 0.
Bonus is over.
Yeah.
So I should make a note of that, but I suppose it's kind of implied there, but I will make it more explicit. If you cast a spell each turn as an action, you get a +1 bonus to spell attack and spell save DC. If you dash each action, you can gain a +10 feet to your movement speed each subsequent dash. If you take the dodge action, you gain a +1 bonus to your armor class each subsequent dodge action. Dang. And if you take the help action, you get an additional +1 d4 to the chosen ally's next d20 test per each action that you are taking as a help action. So this is also only on subsequent rounds.
Right.
So, I can see this being incredibly useful in certain situations, especially for people who are like, great, I'm only going to attack every turn. Right. So
yeah.
it really behooves you to just give this to a barbarian or a fighter who's just going to run in and get, their regular bonus on the first one, but then a +1 bonus on their second turn, a +2 bonus on their third turn, a +3 bonus on their third turn, or whatever it is. I got the math screwed up there while I was talking through it. But, obviously the second something comes out that you're like, oh, I need to do something else and I need to burn my action on something else, you lose all of that. So, it definitely, I don't think, is so powerful in any given combat that it's going to overpower anything else. But a nice little bonus for doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I like that. Also, a nice thought experiment for all of the other standard actions.
Yeah.
that you did not list here.
Yeah.
What happens if you use the improvise action every turn?
That's the thing is there were a bunch that I looked at that I thought
Yeah.
about. I just couldn't figure out how to
Yeah.
put any kind of quantifiable bonus on some of those.
Yeah.
They were a little tricky to land something for. Yeah, like improvise is a little weird. Technically, grapple and shove take the place of one of your attacks, so that feels like
Yeah.
it, you know, it might be sort of DM discretion to decide if that counts to stack on top of this bonus. I personally would, because it is
Yeah, I mean it's an aggressive
taking the place of an attack.
Yeah, yeah. It's a forward action
Yeah.
for sure.
But then yeah, you've got some interesting ones like utilize and search.
Yeah, yeah.
But like again, I am a DM who like I will allow you to search as a free action most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
allow most of my players to make like at least one ability check per turn that is primarily to gain information about the situation
Right.
as it is.
Give me a quick pass. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, if you're trying to gain a sense of like what the nature of this place is, maybe you'll get a nature check or a perception check or
Yeah.
something. Or if you're trying to get a sense of what a different creature's intentions might be, you might make an insight check or something like that. Or an animal handling or whatever it is. I usually let that go for free. They have codified that in the 2024 rules as full action, and I don't like that. So I don't do it.
Just like everything else in the game, it all kind of depends on the situation, unless it's like something that's a core tenet of the game. Your D20 tests, D20 rolls, damage rolls, things that are
Yeah.
set in stone to keep the rule set running. Anything outside of those, it's like it's hard to tell what action economy you'd use for it, because if
Yeah.
you're making an investigation check or a perception check or something, and you're using all of your focus on that, I would probably allow you to roll at advantage, but you'd use your full action for something like that. It all depends on what the player wants to do, you know,
Or in very specific situations.
what the situation calls.
Yeah,
for.
in very specific situations that I have run before, it's like this is a high stress environment and you are looking for something very specific in a specific place. For instance, like if you are, fighting actively in a library and there are a bunch of, you're looking for a specific book among all of the scrolls and books that line these shelves. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I would rule in a certain situation like that, it might be an additional bonus action or something to take time to scan one of these shelf areas for what you're looking for.
Right.
And like
Right.
you say, you can be like, you can take your full action to do it if you want to give yourself advantage on that. And that's the kind of thing that like, because the situation is set up in a way that it's like, oh, this is also part of the activity that we're doing, like the fight is happening at the same time as trying to find this thing, so it's an objective that's part of the same encounter. That's a thing that's like great. Then you making a check feels like you are contributing to the goal. Whereas, like,
Right.
if you are just making a perception check on a creature to understand if they are aggressive, that doesn't feel like you're making progress by making that check. That doesn't feel like you're contributing to the group's overall success in this encounter by making that check. You're just trying to gather information about the situation to make a better choice. And that I feel like you shouldn't take someone's action to do.
Yeah, and we've talked so many times about how important multi-objective combat is
Hugely.
to making the game interesting. So you're not just slashing back and forth for 4 rounds until the enemy is gone. Adding dimension to any combat is good, and using skill checks and using these different action options, some of them may not on the surface make sense to players as combat actions, but I think that anything on that list could be used regardless of how out there it might seem.
Yeah, for sure. for sure.
Yeah, really cool. Totally opposite approach to mine,
Mm-hmm.
which is rare. I feel like most of the time we at least are kind of coming at it from the same direction. This is good. This is a good episode.
I think that's the joy of item creation
Yeah.
days, where it's like, we're both gonna do something
Absolutely.
really a little bit out of left field. And I think this is also it's truly the best venue for me personally to let my brain go to the what would be fun for me to show to Michael. What would he enjoy?
Yeah. Yeah. Items, the positive side of the coin being spoiled for choice, right? I talk about probably too often just having choice paralysis on this show. Make something called the tax collector.
Yeah.
Like, that prompt was a nightmare. That prompt was, they paralyzed my brain. And items it's the flip side of that. They're so small and so self-contained. It's like, I can just think about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if it feels like it's good, I'm going to follow that idea until it's not good. And then I'll jump to the next idea. And it's great. It's great.
Yeah, it's pretty excellent. And then sometimes you still make the tax collector, and then it becomes like a long-standing creation in the lore of the College of Creation. So hey,
has spawned several
yeah, exactly.
subsequent creations. Yeah.
Well, Michael, shall we roll for our next prompt?
Yeah, I think so. I rolled last week.
Great.
So why don't you grab some dice? I am going to pull up our big old table. This is a D20 table that we have filled with prompts that we have collected from you, the listeners, from across the internet, sometimes from each other. We use this to decide what we will be making on the show. If you have a prompt that you'd like us to make, you can send us an email at collegeofcreationpod@gmail.com, or you could head over to our Patreon, send us a message there. That is patreon.com/collegeofcreationpod. Or while you're there, if you'd like to subscribe at the $5 tier, you can get a bunch of extra stuff. You could listen to us doing some drafts, talking through some think pieces, some brief actual plays. Our 3-in-1 shots are over there. We would love to have you on the Patreon if that's something that is of interest to you. Dan, go ahead and roll.
That's a 3.
A 3 is a subclass. We're heading back to home base. This is a wild nature druid. This is from Justin. For example, parasites. Wild nature, gross nature, parasites, fungal. So I guess I made a fungal colony druid already for the technology one, but
there's spores,
gross
too,
stuff.
But I like the idea of like
circle of spores. Yeah,
looking up the strangest nature thing that we can and trying to make it, because there's so much stuff.
Oh, so vast. Yeah,
it's in nature that. Oh boy, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, this will be good. I think this is large enough that I think the chances are very low that we will intersect on this one.
I'm going to do some research. I'm looking forward to it.
I already have a couple ideas. I'm excited for this. This will be good.
Well then, Michael, before we say goodbye, I actually have something.
Take the floor. Please, take it away. I would love to hear what you have to say.
I just wanted to let our listeners know that I believe now-ish, they will be able to go over to the So You Want to Be a DM podcast or the Twitch stream and all of that good stuff and see me playing some Kids on Bikes with our good friend who we've had on the show, Justin Galliani, running a game for me and a bunch of other great people. I don't remember their social handles because I definitely follow them, but now I know them by their real names, so their social handles have left my brain entirely. But it's Millie, it's Alex, it's Tommy, it's AC. Great folks all around. We had a delightful time playing this game. I am playing a great little outdoorsy wannabe camp counselor named Tina Plotnick, and she is just the greatest. I had a wonderful time. So I hope you'll go over to So You Want to Be a DM and listen to that or watch that. I really had a good time. So I hope that you go check it out and enjoy it.
Finish this podcast first. Listen to the very end. And then go to So You Want to Be a DM's podcast and take a listen to Dan and the rest of the table playing Kids on Bikes. I know that's where I'm going.
Yeah. And just generally check out So You Want to Be DM's actual plays. They're really
great
fun.
content.
I just listened to the tiny town, small world one that they just finished up recently.
It's really good.
It was fun.
It
was a really fun time. Lots of wacky shenanigans.
Can't recommend it enough.
Yep,
Justin does a great job.
We love Justin. We love Taylor, and they make some good stuff over there, and it's always a delight. So, until next time, folks.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.